Hello, everybody, and thank you. Now, I am currently in communication with Chris, the Wrestling Informer, and I wanted to give him a platform. I wanted to give him a chance to really come forward in regards to the treatment of his outlet, the devaluation of his credibility in that industry, in the wrestling coverage industry. So I have invited him. I am currently in communication. This is the only way we can speak with him openly. Oh, 1 second. He is here. Hello, Chris. Are you on?
Hi, Alex.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
It's great to hear you. Now, this is something I really wanted to talk with you about. And I think this is a great chance to give your perspective because a lot of people have been interested in your coverage. A lot of people have reached out and wanted you to tell your side of things here in an open and honest way.
Yeah, I mean, uh, it comes a time when when you constantly get overlooked,
Yeah,
and really, I mean, in a big way. Like it's not like it happened once in a time, because I know that people cannot always see their messages, but when it's constantly from the same people, and that you see that what you have posted is being uh, thanked or acknowledged by other people, and you are always the one being left out, there comes a point where it can't be a coincidence anymore.
exactly. Now, that's kind of the point I wanted to make. Now, before I continue, how long have you been doing the Chris the Wrestling Informer platform? At least 4 or 5 years?
No, a little bit less. I started in December 2022, so it's about 3 years.
Right. And you've been doing a lot of coverage. And I think the way that you interact and that you come forward has been really positive. And I started to really notice it. I started to really notice it because you did have names who were always really gracious for your interaction, who were really gracious for the way you spoke about the talent. But I did notice that there are people in the industry that when you come forward, trying to get some information, trying to put a source forward, trying to really get a conversation going, they'll not respond to you, but they'll have someone like Chris Van Fleet or one of the big names, and then they're salivating at the mouth over that. But it really goes to show you that they just don't have the same passion for the smaller guys.
Yeah, this is true. When I started doing this, first off, I spent a year on Twitter watching, learning how it was going on here and
Yeah.
how dirt sheets were doing their stuff. And I watched, and I observed. And when I started, I wanted to be different. Basically, I want to be myself. Um, what you see from me on Twitter is me. It's not a role.
Yeah.
It's not a play. It's the way I am in real life. Uh, People who know me personally, they know how I am, and they know how I feel about things and my passion for wrestling. And I want to be more friendly, interactive, more accurate, in a way that I don't go for clickbaits.
Yeah.
I always try not to go into wrestlers' private lives. Like, if you take an example, um, all the reports about Nikki Bella's divorce,
Yes.
I post once about when she announced it, and then I stopped posting about it, because it was constantly on and on. Medias trying to go and be intrusive in personal lives, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it can be challenging when you're covering the wrestling industry and stories like that come out. And you want to have your chance to give your take on it. But again, like situations like divorce or, marriages or whatever it may be is often more a personal issue. So I think you were just kind of trying to find that balance between what is the news that the wrestling fans want and, what
Yeah,
is.
because if I was a celebrity, I would not love to have my personal life being on the internet.
Right.
uh, and so I tried to do so. And so there's people who were asking me, "Oh, what's going on with Nikki?" And her? I said, "I don't care. I don't care."
Right.
If you want to know something, you ask Nikki. You ask Nikki, and maybe she will answer, and maybe she won't, and probably she won't, and there's a good reason for that. And I'm not gonna do things because anyway I don't have any sources on that, so I just don't want to repeat and be intrusive like other people's are. I'm not interested. And so I focus on the wrestling because this is what I want to do. I focus on wrestling reports because I believe that that's what wrestling fans should care about, not wrestlers' privacy.
Now, I find it really incredible because you being that outlet and you have a decent following, and I've pointed a lot of people your way and said, this guy was somebody who inspired me to talk my passions, whether it's wrestling or gaming or whatever it is. You really did inspire me, but I really give you credit, because there is that segment to your audience that wants the more juicy side, wants that sort of inside information on the talent. And you've always held firm and, had that same stance that this is about the wrestling. It's not what goes on in somebody's bedroom or.
You know, I I do things that others don't. Like when I report something about a wrestler, I tagged him, and I do it for a reason. The reason I'm tagging the wrestlers is to give them a chance to reach out if somehow they find that something is not correct. They can reach out and I do the correction. Others outlets, they don't do that. Fightful doesn't do it.
Right.
They're just posting, and when they are calling out by wrestlers, they don't even answer.
And
I
see,
mean,
that's the difference too, because a platform like Fightful, they just got a bunch of young dudes in some office somewhere typing away on the computer. They don't give a damn about the lives of the talent. They probably haven't made a life of wrestling as long as someone like you has.
last year, uh, Dave Meltzer was called out by Thunder Rosa
Yeah.
because he reported that she was medically cleared to return, and she told him, I don't think you are my doctor, and I'm not medically cleared."
Exactly. Where's Dave Meltzer getting the medical forms from, right?
And I answered to Rosa, and I was like, "Yeah, you know this. I did not report anything about your status, probably because I'm not your doctor." So,
Exactly. And actually, I do remember that controversy. I do remember that. Now, before we get into some of the nitty gritty, because I really wanted to give you a platform to speak, because you're somebody I've had a lot of respect for, and
yeah,
somebody again that really was. Hey, if it wasn't probably for you and Wassam, I don't know if I'd be talking openly about things I care about. But since you've started your platform, Chris the Wrestling Informer, and I want everybody to give him a follow who listens here. Who are some of the talent that you've had the best interactions with that you really felt did give you justice in terms to your fair and honest coverage here?
oh, definitely Natalia. She has really become a friend, and yeah, she's the most.
Brett's daughter?
Natalia.
Yeah, Brett's daughter, isn't it?
Grad starter? What?
Bret
Oh,
Hart's daughter.
No, Jim's daughter.
Oh, Jim's. Yeah, I always get that mixed up. I'm sorry. But yes, so you were saying you're giving her the credit that she's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
been.
She's always the most appreciative and respectful to me. But there's a few other Dante Chen from NXT.
Mhm.
Um, there was a time where I was very close with Piper Niven,
Mhm.
and then we fell apart.
Yes.
Um,
Why was
uh,
that? Why was that? Because I see a lot of outlets that do go back and forth with her in
yeah, no,
regards to just being open and asking a question. She usually is quite responsive to
it's
the blue
it's
collar everyman fans.
it's a stupid thing. I mean, like about 2 years ago, I suddenly realized that I was getting blocked by Chelsea Green,
Yeah,
and
I
I
remember that controversy. Yes.
and I didn't know why, because I never have really some issues with Chelsea Green. I never have any problem with her whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's been one misunderstood, but I apologize for it, and I thought it was cool. And then I got blocked. And since I know Piper is a, a really good friend of Chelsea, I try to reach out to her for getting help on
Right.
finding out why, and she just turned me down. So the ones, I mean, after everything I do for putting her over and being so nice to
Yeah.
her, I ask her for one favor, one, only one, and she wasn't even able to be nice enough to help me out.
Yeah, I mean, if there's heat there and you've been an outspoken fan who's always really respectful, and then you notice that line of communication is broken, I mean, it's only, in due time that you have the opportunity to try to set things right. And it's clear that you tried to do that, and that line of communication, for whatever reason, was just shut down.
Wrestling people are, some of them are really acting weird. I mean, um, Adam Pierce was blocking a lot of people for absolutely no reason,
Yeah.
including myself, and then all of a sudden he unblocked me, and I didn't even speak to him once. So
Do you think that a lot of those situations in which these talent may block you is maybe not because of your outlet or your coverage, but just because of the WWE system? You got to believe that their X accounts are probably very heavily monitored, and they probably keep an eye on the people that are trying to interact with them in the potential of inside information getting out there.
yeah, it's probably because of that. Because I mean, there are wrestlers who are doing multiple blocking, just random blocking for no reason. Like I had like a dozen of people telling me, I don't know why I'm blocked by Adam Pierce, because I never even interacted with him. I mean, I'm blocked by Charlotte Flair. I never interacted with her.
Right.
I'm blocked by Nikki Cross. I never interacted with her. I'm blocked by Braun Strowman. I never interacted with him. So they are doing random blocking for absolutely no reason. And I'm probably not the only one in
Yeah,
that
no, that
case.
doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I often do see people retweeting screenshots of superstars that they've been blocked by. And it's the same story. They didn't have an interaction. Now, going back to the Chelsea Green situation, I'm just going to ask you open and honestly, is there any chance you may have, potentially discussed um, the opportunity of the husband going over to WWE and maybe pushing that narrative or potentially looking for some information on that narrative could have gotten heat?
No, actually, I never really did. I mean, for months and months, I've been told the same thing: is that it was that WWE was not interesting in uh, bringing Matt Cardona back.
Right.
Obviously, they have changed their mind. Um, so no, and I do believe that Chelsea's. What surprised me the most is that Chelsea is a very outspoken person.
Yeah.
When she doesn't like something, she'd tell it. When she doesn't like what fans are posting, she called them out. So I'm really surprised that if there was any problem, if Chelsea Green has any problem with me whatsoever, I would have suggest that she would have talked to me about it first,
Right.
and she didn't.
Yeah, and there have been superstars, as you mentioned, that have, come forward, or, if you wanted some information or if you wanted to clarify things or talk about a situation, they have done that. What do you see in your experience since you've been covering wrestling and trying to break stories or give your perspective? What has been the most challenging thing for you as a fan when it comes to some of these negative interactions here?
Well, the falling apart with Piper Niven was tough,
Yeah.
because I thought that I could count on her, and and like I said, um, I know that she was dealing with some personal stuff, and I've always been there privately, even if she didn't respond it, but I was always there, like, hey, if you need to talk, I'm there, and I wish you well, I wish you better, and I was always supportive. And it's really disappointing when you ask one favor and the person is not even able to help you because she just doesn't want to. And I don't accept that, because if I give to you, my mentality is, if I need you, you have to be there.
Right. And it's different too, because you're not exactly like a shock outlet. You're not really like a TMZ style outlet just trying to get the dirt on these superstars.
No,
Usually when you cover certain names or topics in the wrestling, it's very boilerplate and it's very based on the industry. So it's not like you were slipping into their DMs, like asking them private information, like their address or, any kind of stuff
no,
like that. It's usually pinpointed to wrestling coverage and news that you're wanting to talk about.
no. Sometimes I go on their DM about a report, and
Right.
I send the report, and I'm like, uh, is this true? Can you confirm? Can I report it? If they doesn't respond, I take responsibility to post it. But if they don't like it, it's their fault, because I reach out.
Right. Like you've never reached a superstar and been like, what airport are you going to be coming into? Like
No,
what
no,
hotel?
no.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Exactly.
I'm
And I think
I'm not
as
even I'm not even interested by that.
right. And that's the point I'm trying to make. And that's why I wanted to have this chance to let you speak and to give justice for, what you've done, on your platform. And, give you a chance to kind of clarify things. Because there is a segment of the audience that were kind of hot, over some of your comments. And I didn't believe that was right to have you pointed that way, because you've always been very respectful, although you can be direct when you're trying to get a source. But, you're an up and coming guy, trying to make your way through that business.
Yeah, I know that I can be very straight, but
Right.
this is not mean. It's just the way I am. I am the complete opposite of an hypocrite, and I just tell it like I feel it. And yeah, sometimes maybe it's I can overreact, because this is the I am a sensitive person, and I mean, I'm dealing with it, and this is the way I am, and and the things that happened with the jumping bomb angels was for me the breaking point,
Yeah,
because
and that's something I wanted to bring up too, because I think from their side of it, it was really disrespectful. And I
yeah,
think it was a really low blow. Again, I just seen it as an instance of punching down on the little guy, because you came forward, clearly you were a fan, you just had some kind of interactions with them and they were mostly positive. And what I seen, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you would wish them this or you would leave a very positive, gracious comment, and they would skip over you But some other guy with the 50,000 follows and the blue check mark, they'd be, incredibly grateful. And that really rubbed me the wrong way.
That's what really killed me, because there's one thing, if and I have that conversation with Shaina Baszler, and she told me, like, Chris, please don't take it personally if I don't answer to you, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with all the messages that I've got.
Right. And I
And
mean, even taking that 5 seconds to let somebody know that, who is just, and I'm not trying to insult you by saying this, but a small time guy who's passionate and has a platform, has been putting in a lot of work and a lot of time,
yeah,
into getting involved in the wrestling coverage. I mean, I think it's great that you do take the time to reach out. You try to get the information. And yeah, it's hard to interact with these people because they are part of the entertainment business. 1 minute they're in the ring, the next they're doing the Make-A-Wish Foundation, or they're, signing autographs at Toys R Us or whatever, and it can be challenging. So hearing somebody like that actually taking, 5 seconds to just tell you that, I think, speaks wonders where more of these superstars should be in their mindset towards these small time outlets.
but you see, uh, there's one thing to ignoring me, and it happens a lot. But the way that the Jumping Bomb Angels really pushed the envelope,
Right.
so to speak, is that at first I was okay with them
Well, here, I'm
responding
gonna
to the.
stop you there, because in case somebody doesn't realize what exactly you're talking about, where did this heat start between them? Because I was actually off the X for a little bit,
Pretty
but I've come
simple.
back.
I mean, it's pretty simple. About their petition, I shared their petition. I signed their petition.
What
I
was the
give my
petition in regards to, Chris?
to get them into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, right.
So they basically made a petition. They create a petition for people to sign, and it's kind of like campaigning for the WWE to get them into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
This is their move. And first, I shared the petition. I signed it. I gave my money to it,
Yeah.
because it's a petition that you need to pay for.
And I think
And
another thing too is when you're talking about something like the WWE Hall of Fame, they do their system over there. But again, it's a lot of it is from the passion of the fans. Who are the people that people are speaking out about that think deserve that recognition? Like, you've known me on this platform for a long time. Somebody like Lex Luger, Chris. Like, how long was I saying, we want Lex in the Hall of Fame?
that's
And
right.
we did finally get it. And as a fan, it was a great moment. So I don't think it's only that WWE system. It's also listening to the fans and, seeing the passion of who these superstars are that deserve that recognition. And from what I'm hearing, you really went above and beyond to try to champion for these jumping angels here.
Yeah. Because really, I mean, when you watch their matches from the 80s, to me, this is just one of the greatest women's tag team of all time.
Right.
This is definitely one of the best women's tag team I have seen in the modern era. I'm struggling to find a team, maybe Bailey and Sasha Banks,
Right.
but apart from that, this is definitely the best women's tag team I have seen. Their chemistry in the ring was absolutely unmatched. It was like watching two twin sisters working together. And definitely, even to me, even the Bella twins, who are in the Hall of Fame,
Right.
they never reached that level.
Well,
So
one
for
thing
me,
I'm confused about, maybe you can clarify this for me, because I don't really know the information, but you mentioned that there was a petition and you made a donation. What exactly were those donations being asked for? Because I mean, what would it, like, I don't understand. Like, were they hoping to pay their way in, or looking for
No,
travel expenses. Like,
apparently the money you give go to change.org, but
the
I don't
what?
know what.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I don't know.
understand. Can you explain that
I,
again?
I don't know the system. I don't understand it either. I mean, they are working with something that's called change.org.
Oh, it's basically like a humanitarian thing. See, I was thinking maybe it was something like they were trying to get the rights to the name to be able to put it forward, or maybe their likeness or something like that. But I don't see the connection between wanting to do good and have people donate and wanting to be in the WE Hall of Fame. I just don't understand the connection there.
No, I'm also confused, but I didn't even pay attention to that. And it's
Right.
just to tell you the way I am. I was just like, okay, I'm going to post it and I'm going to put on a message. And I said that the fact that these two women were in the Hall of Fame yet is an injustice.
Yeah.
And I finished by saying, Happy New Year, because we were on January 2nd. Um,
Yes.
so they didn't respond to that message. They respond to me after I told them that their signing system was more complicated and messy than an AW booking.
Right.
They respond to that with a nice message and a thank you. They
Okay, so there
respond,
was there was a communication beforehand, before
yeah,
this heat that you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah, but after that, I have noticed that they have went through a roundup of shout outs to every wrestling medias who has shared their petition.
Yeah.
Literally everyone. Ringside News, Fightful, Wrestling Observer, other outlets, other people being mentioned, quoted, and thanked. All of them but me.
Yeah, and
Do
see, I
you
can see where
do
the heat
you
is, Prince.
realize?
I can see where the heat is
Do
because look at the names that you're mentioning. They're all the big
I
names.
look, Alex? I'm a simple guy.
Right.
I don't have a massive ego. I'm not Sean Ross Sapp. But do you but but do you realize what a slap in the face it was for me when I saw every wrestling outlets being thanked and quoted by them officially, but me?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And the way I look at it is, you don't have some kind of budget for your journalism. Like I said, you don't have all these young dudes running around typing up your stories. You're as from what I understand, you're like a one-man band. And the
Absolutely. I doing everything on my own, and it's all of my time.
Yeah, exactly. And that is challenging when you're trying to build a platform. And I get that. But I mean, I can appreciate that anger or that frustration because you took the time and took the money out of your own earnings or your bank account or whatever, and you put it forward, typed a really great message. But then all the big names are the ones who are getting the recognition in regards to that same passion that just a blue collar everyday fan wants to show them.
And I gotta tell you, I didn't saw it coming because we were following each other's. We were talking with each other's. I mean, hell, last year they wished me happy birthday in Japanese.
Incredible.
And and when it comes to that stuff, they are going for the clicks, and they
Yeah.
are not even give me any sign of appreciation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you think it's a political thing? Do you think that maybe if they share the comments from these bigger platforms, that in their minds it's more likely to get them attention in regards to what they're trying to get done? But they couldn't take that time to show that
Obviously,
passion for an upstarting coverage outlet.
obviously it is. But the fact is, like, I trusted those people. I appreciated them, and it's like a slap in the face. I mean, it's there is no more way to make me feel worthless than what they have done.
Yeah, I can totally get that. And I seen some of it transpire, and I felt really bad because I know your passion, and I know how much time and work you've put into it. And when you're a fan of somebody or you appreciate them, you really do come forward and champion and step up and speak openly about them.
And
So,
I
like,
didn't
to
say,
do everything you could have done just to get it out there on your platform that you support this group, and want to do everything you can, making a donation or subscribing or whatever it was,
yeah.
that at the same time, you're pushed to the side. Well, the big outlets are the ones who are thanked for that, who, to be honest, like, it's no sweat off their brow to make a donation or whatever, because they have these big outlets and big revenues or whatever. But when a blue collared fan, and you've been a fan since 1991, that's a long time, that's almost going on what, 40 years of wrestling fandom, that they didn't just take that 5 minutes to give you a retweet or try to elevate your platform the way that you tried to put them back in the modern landscape again.
And the worst part of it, all these outlets, they have just shared the petition. They have done the minimum. I am the only one who have quote tweeted their petition with a personal nice message.
Right.
I am the only one who did it, and I am the only one who didn't get thanked.
Well, the way I see it, for them, it was just business, but for you, it was a genuine passion and a genuine way to give thanks and, to get the issue out there. Well, for them, it's all about the dollar and the cents here.
Even even Natalia told me when I explained her, she was like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. Really?
Like, there's no way to explain that. There's no way to justify that because it is on purpose. I tagged them. I make them know that I was angry and disappointed about it.
Yeah.
I unfollowed them, and instead of getting an explanation or an apology, but at least an explanation,
Right.
forget the apology. For an explanation, they unfollowed me back, and they remained silent.
Yeah, and I noticed that not only that, and you said, and I'm the same. I'm the same. I'm an emotional, sensitive person, and I explode or whatever. So I get that, but what I thought was troubling was on the end of other fans shaming you,
I know.
shaming you for your frustration and your anger. Like, I kind of get it, because I think when you're reading stuff on outlets like this, you can kind of get it twisted. You don't know the person behind it. You don't know the emotions behind it. But the fact that you at least came forward and confronted them, and maybe the right or wrong things were said, but I think you really did genuine feel that you were wronged by this. But then you were attacked by their fans, saying that
Um,
what makes you think that you deserve recognition? And I was like, that's bull crap, Chris.
Here's the thing: a lot of fans on Twitter are seeing the wrestlers like untouchable gods.
Right.
I do not. I love wrestling. I respect the business. I respect the wrestlers, but no one is above me as a human being.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And I am not above anybody else.
But some of these interactions, I mean, I was just completely shocked that people didn't take time to understand your frustration, to understand, your passion for really coming forward, wanting to push for this Hall of Fame induction, actually interacting and giving an amount of money, giving your passion. And just to have that thrown back in your face, take it whatever way you want. But Chris, I'm on your side. And that's kind of why I wanted to give you this platform, because, we have a lot of people that I've recommended your outlet to. A lot of my audience are wrestling fans. That's how I got started, doing the wrestling coverage. And I've tried to point people your way.
Yeah, but
And
look, Alex, the more hurtful thing is that they purposely overlook me, and they know how I feel about it, and they just didn't give a damn. Like, I'm a human being. I made mistakes, and
Yeah.
sometimes I can hurt people, and if I do, and I know that I did, I am man enough to apologize and say, okay, sorry, it's my
Yeah,
bad.
no, that's incredible. And I've noticed that over the time I've been following your page that you're definitely the first. You don't hold back, Chris, but you're always the first to apologize when you're wrong, or when you've gotten a story incorrect.
Yeah,
A lot of times I've noticed that talent actually do come forward and clarify a situation with you personally.
which other outlets never do.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think you should try to have a bit of a feather in your cap, knowing that even for a small time guy, that there is a segment of the industry that actually do take the time to interact with you and believe in what you're doing. And, a lot of other people can't say the same thing here.
You have no idea how many stories and insights that I had, and I didn't even report it
Right.
because it will put the wrestlers in some kind of an embarrassing position.
Are we talking about sort of that personal, like, line of information,
No, no,
behind the
no,
scenes, or?
no, 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 no. About wrestling, but things that can be embarrassed, like that they are not happy with Jade Cargill's ring skills, that they are
Oh,
not
well, that's
happy
not a surprise.
that they
that
are that they are
ain't a
not
story. That's
that they
just
are not
common
happy with,
knowledge, Chris.
yeah, that they are not happy with Julia's mic skills, because I'm like, okay, this is gonna be worked out, um, and because I know that wrestlers are always working, and they are always working to improve, and they are
Yes.
always working to get better.
And I mean, especially now when they have those systems, we're long ways away from guys like Jake the Snake just wandering out of the bar and becoming a wrestler. They have the NXT Performance Center and all these avenues
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
to really work their craft and
Yeah,
to get better.
yeah, and you see that when you watch NXT. That's the main reason I love NXT, is because you can see really the improvement with the time from people. When you look at, people like Jesse Jane, people like Javon Evans, like, people that we have seen grown, and I think this is why watching NXT is very interesting. But I'm also barely stopped covering NXT because I was just fed up by always being overlooked and ignored by all those young wrestlers
Yeah,
who,
that's the thing too. I noticed that too. As an outlet, when you're coming up, you've done a lot of work to showcase a lot of the young talent.
that's
It's
right.
not like you're trying to get information from John Cena. Or you actually take your time to reach out to these young dudes and
That's right.
women who are
That's right.
coming up in the industry, and you're trying to give them a bit of a showcase to your audience. And some of those avenues have been successful for you. And you're saying now that some of them aren't, and that you've had heat in regards to interacting with some of these younger talent now.
Yeah, I made my first report about Billy Starks. She wasn't even signed by AW yet,
Right.
and but I knew that something was on uh, with
Yeah, so
AW.
you've really like had your ear to the ground when it comes to these upcoming talent, and some of them have ended up on the major platforms, and you were covering them or speaking about them before they even made it to Florida or New York here.
Yeah, because someone sent me a match about Billy Starks, and he was like, "Hey, look at that girl. She's only 17, but look at the way she's working. It's quite amazing." And I was watching, and I was like, "Wow, she really got something there." And so I start to uh, interested myself to her, and interacted with her, and then she got signed by AEW, and she was still she's still working on the indies, and yeah, and I became quite close with her. We had interactions privately, and yeah, and it's all because I got I always try to get my eyes everywhere, you see,
Right.
and my ears everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Now, was there some kind of situation where you feel, once you got involved with the more mainstream companies, that sort of lack of respect that she had for your outlet sort of
Oh
fell
yeah,
apart?
yes, and then she reached out to me back.
Oh, how was that? Was that a positive interaction?
Yeah, she apologized.
Yeah, incredible. See, again, I think that shows the difference in some of these talents that you've actually interacted with. And I think it goes to show for you as a person that some of them understand, you're just a guy starting up and you're just trying to throw your hat in there to interact with some of these talents. And I think some of them take it the wrong way. And I think that when you're in these industries, it's like you said, they can't interact with everybody. But I think the ones that take the 5 seconds to give, a message to these smaller outlets like yourself shows the level of respect for all aspects of the wrestling industry, whether it's Dave Meltzer, whether it's Sean Ross Sapp, or whether it's Chris, the wrestling informer. Some of them seem to be really kind of treating you with this level of respect. And I think that's really incredible to hear.
Yeah, or there's a situation when I said something nice like I wish happy birthday or whatever it is, and I just getting a like, and then I saw on their page that for the exact same post from other people they get, oh, thank you so much, oh, I love it, oh, thank you, and I just get a like. What's the
Right.
problem? Are they afraid to get sick by interacting with me? Am I a virus?
Well, to me, I think it's a numbers thing. I think some of them, when they see the big followers by some of these platforms, they think it's a better way to get their name out there. And I think there's something really conceited, something really arrogant about that you've been very gracious and wishing people happy birthday, or, wishing them other such things like that, or, great to see you in NXT last night. But they don't give you that level of recognition because in a way, and I'm not trying to lower your platform, but I mean, Chris, you're a fan. You're a real fan. You're not some guy in an office tower with 20 guys working on your outlet. And that's why I think you provide the important coverage, because you're coming at it from the perspective of a fan.
That's
So
right.
I think it shows the way they want to treat the fans.
Yeah, and when I cover a show, I always try to be fun and show my passion. I mean, you have no idea. For instance, you have no idea what it was for me to cover John Cena's last match.
Right.
And I've been a John Cena fan since day one. Like not 10 years, day one,
Right.
2002.
I remember that era as well. Now we can talk about that for a minute, because I did have another question I wanted to ask you. But give your thoughts on that. That was actually the last WWE pay-per-view that I checked out. And I mean, I was pretty disappointed. I mean, I've known John Cena. I was there from the beginning, but I never really was a big fan. Like I said, I stopped watching wrestling after about WrestleMania 20. And when I came back, around 2010, he was kind of like all over the place. So it was kind of harder to get into him at that time. But how did you feel? And you were there, Chris.
Yeah.
Weren't you there for the kickoff of the retirement tour, whatever that was?
Yeah, I mean, I was there in Brussels when he cut his first heel promo.
Yeah, you were there that night that they pulled that kid and they gave him WrestleMania tickets and all this crap.
Yes, and yeah, and I mean, I know that there's people who were never really connecting with John Cena.
Yeah, like how long, Chris? You know that kid I'm talking about, or whatever, who they brought on to the show. How long do you think he was a Cena fan? 5 years?
Who, me?
No, the kid, when you went to that show and Cena cut the heel promo, and they cut to that kid wearing the Cena gear, and he
Oh
was like,
yeah,
and he was like crying or whatever, and they gave him like backstage passes, and they brought him into another event, and John Cena did a picture with him and all this stuff. Like, how long do you think he was a Cena fan? 5 years?
I don't know. I mean, the kid was like 12 years old or something.
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah. So he wasn't even there when for instance when John Cena had all those battles with Randy Orton
Yeah.
and with Edge and with the Nexus. He wasn't even born yet.
Exactly. I thought that was really funny. But give us your thoughts really quick, because there's one more question I want to cover with you while we have you on the line. I really appreciate your time. I've been wanting to interact with you for a long time. I know you don't use Discord. You got to get on Discord, Chris. We got to have some interactions on the Discord if you can figure it out at some point. But as far as that final match, I had heat with this Gunther young fella. At first I kind of liked him. I was like, this is kind of like a cool newer guy. But then he retired Bill, and I was like, I'll let that one slide. But to be this new young guy who's like retiring all our childhood legends, I think it's bull crap. And I think it's just going to hurt his appeal to the old school fans.
No, I disagree.
Oh,
I
really?
think
Go ahead. Go. Let's hear it.
I think it's giving something more to his heel persona. I
Yeah.
mean, first off, uh, Gunther is still very young. I believe he's like 32, but we can't call him a rookie anymore. I mean, the
Right.
guy is a two-time former world heavyweight champion. Is the longest reigning intercontinental champion in history. He beat the Honky Tonk Man. So he's not a rookie anymore. He's an established guy. But
Yeah.
yeah, this whole legend killer or career killer thing, I believe that it's good, but I don't think it's necessary to push it that far. Like
Right.
he
Yeah, like he
retired.
doesn't need to retire all our childhood legends. Like, I just think
Yeah,
it's kind of lazy. There's other
like
names that could be taken on these guys. It doesn't have to be like, oh, Gunther retires Randy Orton, Gunther retires Rey Mysterio, Gunther retires AJ
I
Styles.
agree.
Because I
I
think the
agree.
old school fans are really gonna not like the guy for that.
I
Because
agree.
I
And
think I'm
also,
sorry, Chris, but I think it just shows a bit too much like favoritism, and it's lazy. I think too, it's lazy, and that hasn't happened yet. But to me, that seems the way that they're going with this guy. Is he's going to be the guy that's going to retire all the last of the legends, and I'm just like, to me, that's lazy. I mean, it's a hell of a rub to give to a guy, but in terms of storytelling or trying to build up, a decent roster of guys, you're going to all feed them to this one guy.
yeah, and also it's gonna become too much repetitive. I mean, there will be a time when if you put a legend against Gunther, we are just gonna be like, oh, okay, he's gonna retire him. Oh, okay,
Exactly.
he's gonna retire him. Oh, whatever. And we are just not gonna care anymore.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly how I see it as well.
So my thing is, he retired Goldberg. Check.
I'm
He
still
retired.
hot about that. I'm still hot about that. They cut him off, Chris.
He
Um,
retired Cena. Check. I don't believe he should retire AJ Styles. Now I know that AJ has asked for an extension
yeah,
of his contract.
I've heard that. Yes.
He said he's gonna retire in 2026. Royal Rumble seems a bit early for me. So I hope that the career killer will be vanquished by the phenomenal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. I mean, to give him a loss and to keep AJ around a little bit longer. But let's get into that before I get to this last question I want to ask you really quick. So your reaction to the retirement match of John Cena, like, were you emotional? Did you think they did a good job? There's been a lot of heat over the smiling thing and all that. So let's get your perspective, since we didn't get a chance to chat about it, of what you thought about that whole thing.
Yeah, it was very emotional as a Cena fan, but That's a common thing. I believe that the tapping out stuff, I wasn't really thrilled about it, but I understand why they did it,
Right.
because now Gunther, he can brag about it, and you know it's add to the character thing, and it was a John Cena call, so I mean I'm like, okay, I might not like it that much, but as a Cena fan, I have to respect his choice and
Right.
his decision.
Yeah, it's not like anybody was forcing him to do it, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
I would have not done it personally. I would have not made the man who never tapped out in his career tapping out on his last match.
Right.
Personally, I would have not done it, but it's
Yeah,
the
and it
way it
just
is.
looked so weak and so forced. Like there was no intensity. It wasn't like Kurt Angle putting on the ankle lock or anything that really had this level of intensity where you would have believed John Cena would tap out to this devastating move. So that's where I really had heat.
Yeah, and I can understand that. And there's it's really debatable, and I um, I understand the people who were upset about it, because uh, uh, i- John Cena. I mean, this has been his mo. Never gave up.
Right.
Um, if it was another legend, like when he did it to Goldberg, nobody cared, because
I did.
okay, yeah, you did because you're a big Goldberg fan. But Goldberg tapping out,
Right.
I mean, was okay. Uh, he's 57-year-old. I mean,
Yeah, and it's not
all right.
really part of his history that you would never see it. Didn't he tap out to Sid in WCW?
Yeah, yeah. If it would have been a legend like I don't know, like a Rey Mysterio or CM Punk, Randy Orton, I mean, people would have been like, okay, but it is because it's John Cena,
Right.
and he never. I mean, there's two wrestlers that I can recall have never tapped out in their entire career. It was John Cena and Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That's that's the only two I can recall.
Okay, I have two more questions for you, and I'm really glad for your time. I can't go as long this time, so I'll hold it to two more questions. One's a personal one, and one's about your career. And I want to thank you for your time because there were a lot of people that reached out and wanted to hear from you again. Um, you have a lot of fans in the PWR community.
That's nice.
So I always try to point them in your way. So here's my personal question, and I want to get your take on it. So there's been a lot of legends lately, a lot of low card guys like Stevie Richards, Maven. A lot of them are getting into the YouTube game. We heard the controversy about Mark Undertaker Calloway and his liberal wife, and the crap that they spew. But I had this concept, Chris, and I wanted to get your take on it. Could you imagine Lex Luger starting a YouTube channel where he visits, our childhood wrestling legends and helps them give their life to God?
Oh, really? Has he done that?
No, I want that to happen.
Ah, oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, Lex, I think he's pretty busy with his health, and I'm not sure if he want to take the time to do a YouTube channel or something like that.
Well, I mentioned the idea to him on his post and he liked it. I said, Lex, you got to get a young dude to set up the YouTube channel and start bringing some of our legends to God.
But Lex, every time, every day, he posted a tweet on his page,
Yeah.
and he said, "God is good."
Yes, and I retweet that every day as a way to give thanks for his career.
There's another wrestler who does that. I believe it's Montez Ford.
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, Lex, and his story with DDP is very beautiful. I mean, it's such a beautiful life story of friendship.
Yeah.
and everything that. And when Lex was called for the Hall of Fame, I saw him standing up.
Yeah.
I posted a tweet and I said thank you DDP, and I
Yes,
tagged
exactly.
him.
And brother, that was like the WrestleMania main event for me. Seeing Lex get that recognition as such a big Lex Luger fan from my youth. That was just such a great moment. You know, a part of my childhood like was ended that night, seeing that all come full circle. And I have another thing actually before I get to the final big question. I just received news recently that JR apparently has had a bad fall. Do you have any takes on this? Do you have any update on his health?
No, I'm not aware of this, but actually JR is very outspoken about his health when he's. So I'm sure if there is an update to give, he's gonna give it himself, because
Yeah.
JR is always is very connecting with his fans, and
Yes.
he's always providing updates. So I'm not worried if something going on with JR is gonna tell it himself.
Yeah, I was upset
But I
about it
hope
because
I hope he's
as we get
okay.
older,
I
you know,
hope
it's
he's
like you.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. As we get older, our childhood wrestling legends, hearing about them having a fall or something is like the same if you just got news that your uncle, you know, who once had that vitality and that lust for life, you know, throwing the football around, and then you're getting news that they fell down the stairs. Like it is, child. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, especially people like JR. JR is really one of my heroes.
Yeah,
And
same here. He's probably one of my other biggest inspirations for like entertainment in the way of like using your voice to kind of convey your passion.
he's actually the man from who I learned most of my English.
Who?
JR.
Oh yeah, no, you mentioned that before. You mentioned that before that you barely even knew English until you really started learning.
JR and the King, by listening to them on commentary, you know.
Hey, well,
Uh,
hey, if you can understand me and have a conversation with me, you're doing pretty well, dude. So I'll give you that.
yeah, but I will never know what a slobber knocker really is, but I still,
I think
but
that's a not safe for work term before they categorized it into a WWE term.
I love JR so much, and
Yeah.
all his Oklahoma expressions, like it was added something to my English learning, and actually JR, he never responded to me, but he actually retweeted some of my posts
Yeah, he liked
from
some
time
of
to time.
mine too, because there were times I was really emotional and I gave thanks to Jim and let him know like he inspired me to speak about my passions and to bring that passion into the things you talk about. And he liked my tweet. And, you know, who knows? It could be the 20-year-old secretary, but I thought that was really cool.
I'm actually amazed by JR, for a man of his age, that he's so active on social media.
Yeah, I think it's great that he still is like doing what he can to even be involved in wrestling. Like he could have probably retired like years ago. And of course, there was that bombshell story about Sonny at one point wanting to move in with him and all that crap, and he said no. And you know, I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, I mean the only reason why JR is still in the business, it's the passion. I mean, he doesn't need the money anymore. He's probably a millionaire, but I mean, uh, he's like 74 or
Yeah.
75. He had a bad health. He beat cancer, and he's still
And then
there. I
his
mean,
wife passed away and he had the
yeah,
Bell's palsy. And, you
yeah.
know, imagine if he would have stepped away in like 97, 98 or whatever. I mean, a whole generation wouldn't probably remember him the same way as we do now.
I mean, for all the wrestling fans of our generation, like JR is always gonna be someone special.
Right. So anyway, we're going to get into a hard topic, Chris, to end off just our short interview with you here. And I want to get your thoughts on it. No, I'll just ask as briefly as I can. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've mentioned that name a lot of times. Sean Ross Sapp, Chris. You've mentioned that name a lot of times. Where exactly is the heat from you in regards to him? I know he's a very controversial wrestling outlet, has had a lot of behaviors in the past that people didn't like, and he's got a bad reputation. So, you always kind of mention him. You make reference like, I'm not someone like Sean Ross Sapp. So what is the heat? What are your opinions on that outlet?
Everybody hates that guy. I mean, I look, Sean Ross Sapp, as a human being, is the complete opposite of me.
Right.
He's egomaniac. He never apologizes when he's wrong, and when he got called out, and he can't handle that someone has the same information as him.
Right.
Like, automatically, if you have the same source as he does, he he will think that you stole from him.
Right.
I mean, there's probably people who stole from him, and sometimes I saw stuff on the Fightful page, and I report it, and I put on Fightful, but I'm not always doing it. And
Right.
sometimes I got people calling me out like, "Hey, why are you not quoted Fightful?" And my answer is always the same: who is quoted me?
Yes.
Who is quoting me? When I got an exclusive, when I got something that I reported first, and then, like 2 months later, everybody is reporting it, and everyone is running with it, and they get thousands of views. When I get hundreds of views, who is crediting me? Nobody. And I
Right.
don't care. And I don't care because I have learned that this is how wrestling media is working. Wrestling
Yes.
media is a selfish word. I am an unselfish person in a selfish word. And I think that this is what got my mental health shaky by the time, because I I just couldn't take it anymore. And
Right.
I
And
had to
you've
get a
given
break.
so much. You've given so much and really put yourself out there. I mean, hey, you're even here chatting with us, taking the time out of your day to have this conversation and get things out there and to clear the air. And
Look,
I'm thankful for that.
do
Of
you
course, I'm
realize?
not Piper Nevin or whatever, but still, it's like you're taking the
Yeah,
time to speak
yeah.
with somebody and to share your passion and to give your stance on these situations here.
And this is because, like I always said, I do not consider myself about anybody above anybody else. I'm not above you. I'm not above anybody else. I am like you. I am like all of us. I am a wrestling fan. You are a wrestling fan. We are
Yes.
all wrestling fan, and we are all human beings who deserve respect and love. And I people are misunderstanding that when I call out wrestlers, they believe I'm doing it by ego or for the fame.
Or to trying to get a reaction, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just reaching out for appreciation because I grew up in a generation, in a country where gratitude is a thing,
Yeah.
and gratitude is a value of life. If you go to Belgium, uh, we are a very small country with very simple people. We don't have that much celebrities of our own, but we are very grateful to each other. And if you come to Belgium, you will be welcome with open arms, without any question or without any, you know, thinking like, oh,
Judgment or
yeah, judgment.
well, here,
And
I'll say it right now. I actually got a box of Belgian chocolates here. I'm gonna crack one open. I'm gonna take one in tribute to you, dude, because you've really Again, you were the second entry in our Hall of Fame, for how much you inspired me to come forward, how much I enjoy chatting with you. So unfortunately, Chris, that is all the time I have. A lot of people wanted me to reach out to you. So I know you don't have Discord or anything like that. So
There is just one last thing I would like to say, Alex.
Oh
if
yeah, I
you
was
allow
going to
me.
give you a chance. Go
Since
ahead.
we were talking about wrestler and how some wrestlers are being ungrateful to me or ungrateful in general.
Yeah,
This
go
is
ahead.
why
I got another 15 minutes. So go ahead.
this is why I am so grateful for Natalia, because Natalia, and not just with me, uh, what Natalia does with me, she's doing it with everybody.
Yeah.
She's interacting nicely with every fan. You can have 3,000 followers or you can have 25 followers. She will not care. If she see your tweet and if she appreciate it, she will react either with a like or with a comment or both. But she will always take the time. If and I can say that because I'm in contact with her. If somehow you do not get a response from Natalia, it's just because she's very busy, and I know for a fact that she also tried to avoid Twitter because there's a lot of negativity,
Yeah.
and she hates negativity.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
there's a lot of negativity on Twitter. Let me tell you, I never got on to the X until about 2018. And I just, as far as my brand or my career, or my streaming or my wrestling coverage, there's a lot of negativity. And I also think it brings out a lot of negativity in people and it gives them opportunities to express those negative feelings. When you're having a bad day, you just go on X and just spew your mouth off. And I think that is a real issue on the platform, whether it's wrestling or gaming or whatever it is.
I just asked Natalia 2 hours ago. I said because we were joking with each other and was like, "Do you already have your justification speech ready for next week?" And she answered, "Not yet, but I'm ready for anything."
See, that's really cool. And the thing that I want to mention too is, she's not just some upstart. She had the experience with the Hart family, related to the Hart family, had a pretty big career. Like, I think she was the women's champion or whatever at one point, and still taking that time to speak with everybody from the 25 followers to the 1,000 and above.
And this
So,
is why and this is what I don't understand, because I mean, if a legend in the wrestling business like Natalia can be that way, how can you explain, Alex, that some unachieved rookies from NXT or Evolve or the Indies, they don't even care about people supporting them?
yeah, no, exactly. Now, hold on, Chris. We do have somebody that wants to request to speak. And this is a friend of mine here. He's a good guy, Frank Thorpe. So I don't think he's going to troll. We're going to give him a quick minute here if he has have a question for
Okay,
Chris.
I'm gonna be there for another like 10 minutes or so,
Yeah,
and then I
exactly.
will
So
have to
around the
go.
same for me. So
Yeah.
Frank, we'll get you on here 1 second because this is a bombshell exclusive. We're giving Chris the time to speak. So Frank, good to see you on here, dude. You're always a cool guy to chat with. What's on your mind here for our conversation with Chris?
Oh yeah, I had a question I really wanted to ask Chris because he's kind of got made a name for himself for calling out these ungrateful wrestlers. So I just want to know who would he say is the most ungrateful wrestler that he's had to deal with over the years?
Uh, that I have interacted with.
Right. I mean, we see a lot of these times. You're going back and forth, and who would you say is the one most ungrateful wrestler?
Um, I will say Carmela is one of them.
Oh wow.
What's that all
Uh,
about? Give us a minute or two
Yeah.
on
Good.
those steamy details.
she was lying her teeth, and I called her out, and she was just keep lying. I mean, there is absolutely no way that she can call WWE being unfair with pregnant women when we have Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss coming back from pregnancy and shining out of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good point, Chris, because there are a lot of women in the WE who come out pregnant and they have their kid, and then you get the pictures of them backstage with the kid and all this stuff, and it's
Yeah,
very glamorized. But you're
yeah.
saying that she was. I remember that she was slamming the company in terms of how they treated her pregnancy.
Carmela didn't get renewed because she had a baby.
Right.
She didn't get renewed because she wanted to have the same contract that Alexa Bliss, and they turned her down
Right.
because she's not Alexa Bliss.
So did you have a conversation? Like, did you clarify
Yeah,
that with her
yeah,
and she
yeah,
got
yeah,
hot?
yeah. Yeah, she keep calling me like she keep mocking me. She was mocking me. And it's fun because all the time that I have said nice thing about her, she barely never reacted. But once I called her on her crap and her lies, then all of a sudden she remembered that I exist.
Do you remember what she said specifically? Was it like something that you would consider like abrasively rude, or was it just sort of like a response? Like, that's what we're trying to figure out here, because Frank asked you the most negative
Yeah,
experience,
yeah,
and we already talked about the jumping angels thing, but this sounds even worse.
yeah. She was basically responding to me like I was a joke, like I was a piece of crap.
Right.
And but that's okay. People like Carmela, I don't really care. When it's people that I really appreciate, I am more touched. Like Piper Niven, it was tough. The Jumping Bomb Angels, it was tough. But if you wanna ask me who was the most ungrateful wrestlers, that really ungrateful in the way of being ungrateful, that I have interacted with. Um, More recently, I will definitely have to say uh, Baron Corbin and Kendall Gray.
Right. Now, anyway, maybe we'll save those stories for another time, because I think we're both pretty much got to go around the same time. So, Chris, here, I'm going to end it off by giving you the floor. Let us know your page, where people can follow you, and let us know anything that you're working on coming up.
It's Chris, the Wrestling Informer, and at the moment I am working on nothing.
I'll tag your page in the video here.
On the moment I am working on my career around FIFA 25.
Oh yeah, so you're stepping away from the wrestling a little bit to work on the virtual career there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm joking about it, but my mental health was really shaky, and
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes you got to
um
step away, yeah, and you got to find
yeah,
that
yeah,
passion again, right?
uh, it's really hard when you are doing something and you are putting your time, and like when I cover shows, that I'm doing it in the middle of the night at
Yeah,
night
yeah,
time.
because again, like, people don't realize, like, they're some of these fans that live overseas, like, some of them are the most dedicated fans, and when you add that in with coverage and reviewing shows, I mean, that's a
Yeah,
tough grind. On my channel, people wanted me to like review. They always call it smart guys or whatever, it's based off some. They want me to like review Raw and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like, I can't even do it. So big ups
the
to you for not only covering it, but going above and beyond, like in those god awful time zones when
yeah.
wrestling is at like 2 and 3 in the morning or later.
Yeah, it especially when I was covering AEW pay-per-views going for 5 hours.
Good Lord, I can only imagine, dude.
That
Well,
was
anyway,
hell.
we're gonna end it there. Everybody, give Chris the Wrestling Informer a follow. We wanted to bring justice for Chris because I think he's a great guy. He's always been super kind. He may not
Well,
come across that way, so that's kind of why I wanted to actually have you on and give you a chance to tell your story and just to hear the passion that you have. And I will implore you, Chris, you need to get Discord.
I will think about it.
Because basically with Discord, it might be a little confusing, but if you just make an account, I can call you and we could do a show or do a call together on that.
Yeah. Speaking of calling me, just when you call me for a space, I know it's kind of challenging because you're in Canada and I'm in Belgium.
Right.
But just if you could try that it's not past 4 a.m. on my time,
Okay.
because I'm sleeping.
I apologize. What time is it there for you now? For me, it's about 4:30 p.m. So I guess what? It's about like 8 or 9.
Right now, for me, it's 20 minutes before 10, 10 o'clock.
Oh, damn.
10 a.m.
Okay, well,
10 p.m. Sorry.
I will keep
So,
that in mind for sure because I was excited for you to get the story out. So we'll end it there, guys. Chris, is there anything you want to say to end it off here?
No, just thank you for the support.
You're
Thank
so
you for
welcome,
having
dude.
me. And thank you for always being so kind and supportive to me.
Oh, you're
And
welcome. Same for you, dude.
and keep on your good work with your page. And I think you are on YouTube too.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So keep on the good work on your YouTube stuff, and we'll talk next time. Okay.
Hell yeah. Okay, take care, dude. Thank you, everybody.
Bye bye.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.